right, here we go. If you're looking for the ultimate in reliability, Janome is the name. If you are a sewist, you already know the particular term of Janome. Janome has been in the industry now for over 150 years. They're known for supreme quality, also their durability and their ease of use. They've actually even been at all the different people around the country who actually offer their machines. They have the lowest rate of any of the individual brands of needing to be fixed. So for the incidence rates when people who work on the sewing machines and fix your sewing machines, so that tells you a lot about the quality of the machines. 25-year warranty along with them as well, but super smooth, super straight, and really fantastic. But I gotta warn you, not a lot of these to go around. Every single one of our machines that we brought in are in limited quantity. It is our exclusive launch here of Janome on HSN. I'm gonna welcome in our very special guest. Valora is joining us here today. Valora Hammond is also a home ec teacher, but also she's been representing Janome now for the past 10 years, yes, and doing the educating and so much more of the different items.
Educating and training of our dealers and consumers.
Well, we love that. She's even written a couple of books on sewing and how to make everything so much easier. So as we start off with our very first machine, we only brought in a little, right around 400 or so of the machines to go around. This is a mechanical sewing machine.
Yes, it is.
And who is this for?
This is for anybody who's looking for another machine or want to get back into sewing, because it makes it very easy. You've got just a dial and you can turn it around over and over, or you select your different stitches right here on the dial. So it makes it very, very easy. We've got a lever for reverse, so it's very convenient to go into a reverse pattern. So it's just a matter of turning the dials to get the correct stitch, and right here is the stitch pattern that it shows you how to go about, you know, A, B, C. So it's very easy to do. This is your stitch length, and it's just a matter of turning the dial to get the length of the stitch that you want. So let's go into stitch A, which is going to be our straight stitch, because the majority of your sewing is going to be done with straight stitches.
Okay.
Now, one of the things that you I want to bring up is the reliability. Did you notice how quiet it is?
Very smooth. Very
smooth, very quiet. And Janome was one of the first companies that came out with, some of the first that Janome's did was they were the first ones that came out with an embroidery machine.
Okay.
They were the first ones that came out with a computerized programmable machine. And they actually started the first research and development lab for sewing. So they are the innovators of a lot of the sewing features that we have nowadays in our sewing field.
Excellent. So you can see, you'll notice too, the way that you just ran that through. Very easy threading system. I know that's one of the features that everybody loves about it. You do have that length and width adjustment, up to a 5 millimeter in width. This is a great one for somebody who might be, if in a classroom, being a home ec teacher, you want to have those basic stitches, having and teaching those basic life skills. But also, if maybe you don't want to get into a computerized sewing machine, or maybe you just want to use it for making your drapes, you want to hem your pants, you want to do some great basics on this. You're going through, now are you just going through just the 2 layers?
2 layers.
Okay, 2 layers of the fabric.
The majority of your sewing is going to be done with 2 layers. And so I just went into stitch B, which is the left needle position. I'm going to go into C, which is a zigzag. And when I put it in C, it's going to go full width. And then by turning the dial, I can become very narrow. And I'm just going to turn it around, and you'll see that it's a very narrow stitch. Now, while I'm stitching, I can also change the density, so that I can make it very closer together, so that I could do a satin stitch. If I wanted to do an applique around a product, I could do a satin stitch. So there's our stitches.
Okay.
That allows us to change the width and the density of our stitch.
So there's the zigzag, and then actually by changing the width and the density, it actually creates a different stitch.
You got it. You got it.
So it has 12 stitches that are built into the machine. And you can see, and all the stitches are right up here on the side. So it's simple and easy to be able to do. What about if I need to do, let's say, a stretch stitch?
A stretch stitch, you would go ahead and you would do a stretch stitch would go into, these are your stretch stitches down there. You would go in here, and that would be underneath your A or your B, depending upon needle position. So you're going to go in there, and it actually sometimes is called a triple stitch because it goes back and forth on itself. And once it comes up, when you're sewing with the knit, you would be able to stretch that, and your thread wouldn't break.
Okay, perfect. So it actually has 6 of your regular stitches and then 6 of your stretch stitches as well. But your classic zigzag, you're going to have the easy straight stitch on there. These are all the perfect basics. And what a great price point to get involved in this. It is National Sewing Month, so each one of the machines that we are going to be featuring for you, do know that it is going to have that free shipping and handling. We're also doing this on 4 flex payments. If you are tired of having to always hem your pants, if you're tired of when you look at your drapes or you look at a dust ruffle, the little seams are not finished off quite so right, or it's not tight enough. Same thing on the inside of a pair of trousers. If you rip a little seam out, maybe you don't want to get into a full sewing where you're going to be doing embroidery work and everything else, but you want to be able to have those great basic stitch functions. This is going to give you all those great basic stitch functions. In addition to that, comes with a bunch of additional feet along with this as well. This is an exclusive configuration to us, but here, as you can see, on the additional feet, you are going to receive your zipper foot. You also get that special promotion 1/4-inch seam foot. That's the one that you're going to see right there. You have your blind hem foot. There's also a 4-step buttonhole foot in here. $149 or $37.25. But for all of your basic needs in sewing, this is a great machine.
This is a great machine, and I'm so glad you mentioned about hemming because I want to show you guys how to put on the blind hem foot and how to adjust it. It is an adjustable. We do have, it is a drop, snap on and off foot. So once the foot's on, we can just press a lever and it snaps right off. So it makes it very convenient and easy to use the right foot for the application that you're actually going to be sewing with. So we've got that set up. I went into the blind hem foot, which is F.
Okay.
Now we've got one for stretch and we've got one for woven.
Okay.
So both of those. I've adjusted my stitch length to about 2.5, between 2.5 and 3. And then by folding your fabric, you're going to just fold it down so that there's an edge for your hem and then your garment. Now I am using a high contrast thread so that you're going to be seeing it, but if you were to be using the correct thread color, and with a little bit of adjustment, I can just adjust it so that it barely takes a bite of my fabric. Because that's what a blind hem is when you can't see it.
I love that blind hem.
Yes.
Now that's traditionally, oftentimes, that would be the additional foot that you would go in and you would purchase. There's also the little thread cutter right here on the side that's built into the machine. But now as you flips this over, look at how you can see. Now you're not going to see where that seam is. So a lot of times, particularly with patterns and plaids and different things, or often just even a really white fabric. Now imagine if that was done in a white, you wouldn't be able to see that.
You wouldn't be able to see it at all, right. But I wanted to show you the contrast so that you'd actually see that it is taking a very small bite on the other end. And we do all, as I said, have it for both woven and knits.
I love that you included the blind hem foot. That's one of the additional ones that's in here. Now there's also the 1/4-inch foot. What is the 1/4-inch foot for?
The 1/4-inch foot is this foot, and it actually has a flange along the side. And what that flange will do is it guides you so that your seam width on a quilt is 1/4 of an inch.
Okay.
Okay?
So particularly for quilters, that's going to be a great one.
Quilters do it all the time. So again, we're going to go into stitch number A, and they like a fairly small stitch. So we're going to make the stitch fairly small. Now I've also heard people say you don't want it too small because you can't get your seam ripper in it. Okay?
See?
Yes. So once you've got your foot on, I have gone ahead and I've put the foot on, and let me get 2 pieces of fabric. And they're not cut as quilt pieces, but once I put that on there and lower my foot, and I'm going to put my fabric right along that guide. And then once I start sewing, making sure everything is there, now when I sew my quilt, I will have a perfect 1/4-inch seam. So now this gives me the ability now to make that quilt for a gift, for Christmas, for warmth. I mean, it's amazing where you would need that.
You know, as we were chatting and we were talking, I asked you what got you into sewing, and I know our question of the day on HSN today is, you know, who taught you how to sew? So we'd love to hear from you on our live chat. You can join us there. You can download the app, but find out and kind of answer back our own question. So what I was going to say, chat with us. We'd love to hear from you. Also, if you're calling in, if you're buying the machine, if you've known the name of Janome, we'd love to hear from you. Why have you wanted to get a Janome machine? Did you learn how to sew on one? Oftentimes, I know we hear out in the industry that people who have Janome machines have had them since, you know, for the past 20 years, past 25 years, 30 years, still using the same machine. And that's the beauty of a mechanical machine. Mechanical machines are really those workhorses. But if you chat with us live, we want you to answer the question, who taught you how to sew? The person who taught me how to sew was my grandma, but then my mom gave me the love of sewing because I found I could have a lot more clothing if I had a lot more things that I really wanted to have that I couldn't afford to have. But what is your love of sewing? Why do you love sewing so much?
I love sewing because, one, I have a fitting problem. So to be able to get something out of the ready-to-wear stores that will fit, I need to do a little nip and a little tuck in certain places. And that gives me the ability, maybe I want a fitted blouse like what you're wearing today. I can make my own darts. I can take a long sleeve and make it short sleeve. Maybe a skirt. You know, it's amazing how an inch can make it go from dowdy to stylish.
Yes. Oh, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah. And by being able to hem even ready-to-wear stuff. So, but I had a fitting problem, and I, like you, my grandmother, I think there's a mother-daughter thing.
I think so, too.
Because my daughter now, as she's gotten older, wants to learn how to sew. So it is a matter of mother-daughter. But my grandmother, that was a special time with my grandmother, was the fact that, that we spent it sewing together.
Oh, I like that. See, it's nice. You know, and a lot of times, you know, we're sometimes even raised a little bit by our grandparents. I know, especially now, we as women, a lot of us are working a lot more hours. We don't have that time. And I know I rely on my mom to help me out with the kids. So it's nice to have that. But this is also a machine. The machine itself only weighs 13.1 pounds. So it's nice and strong one and sturdy one to be able to travel around with. Mechanical machines are particularly good if it's something that you're going to be putting into the car and taking to the crafting fairs, taking over to somebody's house. Or maybe you already have a great sewing machine that you love, but you wish you had one at your lake house or your summer house or beach house or someplace else that you have a tendency to visit sometimes, or in an RV. This is a great machine to make that purchase for it and have that second machine. You're getting the name of Janome. Maybe you've always wanted to have a Janome sewing machine. Now, what are you demonstrating now?
Just some of the other stitches. This is a really fun stitch because when it's done, now I'm using embroidery thread right now, but when it's using even a heavier weight thread, because our machines are not picky about the thread. Okay. It's amazing how many educators I go to assist in their class, and they go that Janome owners are more advanced sewists because their machines don't yell back. Yes. When they say, I want to do something, they actually are capable of doing it. So there isn't that problem of wondering about what thread to use, what technique the sewing machine is capable of doing, because the sewing machine will not have any arguments about using that specific thread or using that technique.
All right, so let's run through the individual stitches that are on here. This particular machine offers for you a 12-stitch built-in stitch. So here are the different stitches. Now, what are all the stitches on here?
Okay, we've got straight, we've got left, we've got zigzag, we've got a triple stitch zigzag, we've got the blind hem for knits, blind hem for wovens. We have a shell stitch. Now, when that's done on a bias, it will make like a little scallop along the edge. Yes. Then we've got your triple stitch. Okay. Like you asked for the straight stitch. I also like to use that for top stitching because it gives a real punch of fabric, thread color because of being the triple stitch. Then we've got like the Rickrack, which is what I showed you here, is the Rickrack stitch. It's a multiple stitches in place. And then we have just a couple of other decorative, which is really fun to stitch over ribbon.
Okay.
Decorative stitches, and then we've got some seam finishes.
Excellent.
So that when you're doing, if you don't have a serger and you need, because the inside of the garment should look as good as the outside, you've got the seam finish stitches that will allow you to do it.
Excellent. All right, so I know on our live chat, Jenny B is already there and she's chatting with us. She said that she was self-taught. Listen to this. She bought a machine with her graduation money and she loves to quilt. So see, Jenny B can appreciate that 1/4 inch foot that's coming along in here as well. If you love to quilt. Sometimes quilting might even be just that nice therapeutic thing. You're making something that's going to be a gift for somebody. When you give a gift that is homemade, there is nothing like it in the world. Or if you see something that you love, let's say that you see one of the blouses that somebody walking down the street, or maybe it's a neighbor, or it's that person who's super fancy and it looks so great, or you buy that skirt that fits like no other skirt that you have ever tried on in your life, and you think, man, I wish I had this in every single color. Well, guess what? With a sewing machine, you can have that in every single color. You can have it in prints. You can do beautiful jacquards and wovens and so much more. So I want to remind you, if you are brand new to shopping with us, this is a brand new launch. We started the hour here today with Janome, and Janome is known in the industry now for truly being reliable machines, also for their ease of use, but they are a company that builds premium machines, high-end premium machines. The fact that you can get a Janome machine at $150, right? Sorry, $149, phenomenal value on that. Sorry, I was looking to where the screen was. But they are known for being quiet, for hard-working, good-working machines, nice and smooth. In fact, even on the inside of each one of the individual ones, they are known for having the lowest service incidence rate on there, too. Simple and easy to do. If you love sewing, you probably already know the name, but exceptional quality. And they even coined the term sewist for people who turn their sewing projects into works of art.
And it's amazing how many artists are out there. But you don't have to be an artist to enjoy the sewing machine and just enjoy sewing. You know, you were saying as being a therapist, this is cheaper than a therapist.
Oh, heck yeah, it is. One time, right?
You got it. And it's amazing how being able to have that quiet time and that creativity. Because some people, if you can't create, you start dying, you know. There's your little shell stitch, whereas you can, on a knit. Just think of on an edge of a t-shirt that it would just pull it in and scallop it right up.
It looks very sweet. Now, we have fewer than 300 machines left for the entire country. I told you we were very limited on these. We only have about 7 minutes left in the presentation. It comes with the additional feet along with this as well. But $150 for this machine, phenomenal value to get it. We ship it to you for free. We also have FlexPay, which is something that you don't find in the stores. Very rarely could you ever walk into a store and ask if you could take this machine home and, hey, I'll give you $37. And, oh, you know what? I got a quarter right here. I'm going to hand this to you, but I'm going to come back to you in a month, and I'm going to do that. But I want to start sewing right now and start enjoying it. You don't have to go visit your machine. The machine comes directly to you for that very first payment. Get it into your home. Get bit by the sewing bug. Find out how great it is. Sewing has been one of the ultimate things that I have learned how to do. Things from making scarves, where scarves can be so expensive, but you can do them so very affordably. How about making a throw? Your draperies in your home, probably one of the most expensive things that you could do. I love that I had a sewing machine when I was in college, because you know what? Those little dorm rooms, they didn't have drapes. And I didn't want to expose myself every single time that I, changed or did something. But drapes were expensive. We also couldn't find drapes that fit the size of the window. I made my own drapes. You know what a drape is? It's a straight stitch, another straight stitch, run a rod through it, and a straight stitch on the bottom. You're done. Finish off the edges of the fabric. But this machine will pay for itself in literally no time at all. Even if you have to hem all your pants. I'm 5'8.5", I have to hem every pair of pants that I make, which is great for the girls who are tall, but for those of us who are always having to hem our pants, you know, $15 here, $15 there, $12 here, $10 there, $18 here.
Pays for it in a heartbeat.
I was going to say, within a year, you've probably just about paid for itself. And you, as you mentioned too, even with the skirt, that 1 inch can make a difference in looking fabulous and not looking fabulous. Or even just tapering it in a little bit at the bottom if you want to do that too.
But, you know, you were talking about making it at college.
Yes.
There's amazing how many people will go to the military and use a sewing machine to sew on the badges and actually create a business in the military. And I've heard people who actually sold that business once they got out.
Oh, I love it.
It's like, and all because mom sent him a little machine to start sewing. So it's absolutely amazing where you can go with just a little sewing skills.
Right, because that's actually your responsibility. Once you get the badges, it's your responsibility to put them on. Same thing with Cub Scouts, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, all those different things.
You can earn the badges, but who's going to sew them on?
I know. I was the Cub Scout mom that didn't get them sewn on until I found a way to pretty much glue them on. Right at the very end.
Well, and to do it by hand, is that gluey, gummy stuff on the back, you can't get a needle through it. Yes.
All right, and so again, we do want to remind you of all the different accessories and everything that this comes along with, too. It's simple and easy to do. You do have that great free motion. You've got that beautiful little zigzag on here, but a fantastic price, too, for your drapes, your pillows, your home decor. But this is a good, strong mechanical machine, and I was asking you a little bit early about this, too. Why a mechanical machine? And you said, quite honestly, some people don't want to change.
Yes, they're comfortable with mechanical because they've been sewing on a mechanical for 30-some years. They want that because they know how to turn the dials. They know how to make the machine work for them.
Right. There's not a whole lot of manual reading. It starts you off. This is also a great beginner machine. So a couple of different features about the machine. There are 12 different stitches that are built on into it, 25-year warranty. Along with this, you're getting the additional feet on here. So all the additional feet, you're going to have your blind hem, the 4-step buttonhole. You also have the special promotion of that 1/4-inch seam foot, which is great for your quilting. You have your zipper foot in there too. You have the seam ripper, the screwdriver, the little soft cover, the instruction booklet. You have the bobbin, the set of needles. You get all of that in there, plus you are receiving the machine. You can remove, so it has a nice free arm design. And we use that for our pants, for the bottom of pants,
shirts, cuffs, sleeves, anything that's smaller you want to go around, necklines. You know, some of our samples up here is Halloween's coming up. So this is a great chance to be making those Halloween costumes, and they can be really simple with nothing but a straight stitch.
Oh, no, actually, it's funny you said that. That's how my brother learned how to sew.
Oh, Halloween.
He made a clown costume. My brother's a big guy. He's a football player. So they don't make the costumes
big enough.
That big for a big guy. So my brother actually made his own costume, and he borrowed my sewing machine, and I never got it back. But I love that because it was just one of those that was fast and easy to do. And it was a basic, classic mechanical sewing machine. And I've advanced on my sewing machine since then. Now, you're also going to receive the soft cover. I did mention the soft cover. So just so everybody can see that, here's the soft cover that comes on the machine. But notice how this is one that really truly becomes portable. You have that soft cover, goes right over the top of that, keeps any of the dust or anything out of that. This is the name of Janome. Brand new launch to us here on HSN. Love having that soft cover. But look at some of the different things that you were able to craft and create and make over here. Because of that 1/4-inch stitch. Great for doing the quilting for some of your classic basic quilting needs over here. You've made an adorable soft chalkboard. I just have to show this because I think that is so cute. And this is all done with all these great little basic stitches. Isn't that cute? I think that is so adorable. What is the fabric that you use to, is that like?
That is chalkboard fabric.
Chalkboard fabric.
Chalkboard fabric is available now.
Love that.
That just rolls right up, and that's a carry-on to church or someplace where people, the little ones, need to be quiet.
Great. Even your ornaments. Making little ornaments, little bags, little tote bags. You can really have a lot of fun with this. So we want you to be able to have that. We don't have many left with the number of you calling in. Fewer than 200 machines now currently left to go around. 12 stitch functions, all the extra feet, free arm design. The stitch width on it, the zigzag width has an adjustment to 5 millimeters. The stitch length adjustment to 4 millimeters. You have 0 to 2.5 stitch length for reverse stitch, and there's the 4-step buttonhole that comes along with this. I don't know if I mentioned the buttonhole or not, but there is a 4-step buttonhole. Front-loading bobbin, built-in thread cutter, and then the push-pull little bobbin winder on there as well. I know those are some of the features that everybody loves.
And actually 2 spool pins.
Now, why 2 spool pins?
2 spool pins, maybe you want to do a double needle. You know, you can always do a double needle with it. The other thing is doing 2 threads through one eye, through one needle. Gives you a really shaded effect and a real punch out of decorative stitches.
Oh, that's nice.
So it makes it a little bit heavier, but it gives you, sometimes you just don't have that perfect match, and so you need that perfect match.
Excellent. All right, stay there in the ordering process. I know we are down to just the last and final few of the machines. We've got another machine coming up, but it's a computerized machine with 167 stitches built into it, plus a full alphabet and so much more. But that's coming up right after we check in with Helen for our HSN Spotlight.